Hey everyone, my name is Ryan and I'm currently a second year life sciences student studying at the National University of Singapore, as well as an incoming vet student at the University of Melbourne. So during my time in NUS, I realized that in order to do well and to stay in my pre-vet program, which is the concurrent degree program, I needed to improve my problem-solving skills during exams. This was because universities typically try to move away from questions that focuses on rote learning, and they try to lean towards questions that focuses on critical thinking instead. This means that memorizing and vomiting answers out will no longer help that much. Also, if you're an NUS student like me, then you will know that the school doesn't really release past year papers for us to practice. So this makes problem solving a very important skill for us to build and to develop. As such, here are some problem solving tips for you to use in 2022, which will be the year that we will do our very best. So when you first encounter a difficult problem, the key thing that will decide whether you can solve the problem or not often hinges on whether you are able to remain calm. If you are too stressed or anxious, your mind will be preoccupied thinking about negative thoughts such as I can't do it, this is too difficult. And this results in a decrease in brain capacity that is used towards solving the question. Also, since time is limited during exams, we don't really want to waste time thinking about negative thoughts rather than trying to solve the question in the first place. So I have already covered numerous techniques to help us better manage our stress in the previous video. So do check it out if you'd like to find out more about stress management. This means getting rid of what I would call distractors, which is basically additional information that provides no value to helping you solve the question. And you should instead focus more on the key points and hints in the question that will help you arrive at your answer. This means making the question more concise so you won't be too overwhelmed with unnecessary details. For instance, I have a question over here. So in a question like this, usually what I'll do is to shorten the question to severe stomach ulcer, surgery cut branches vagus nerve. How would this help? Something like that, make it more concise so your brain won't waste additional capacity trying to memorize the entire question. The third tip will be to recognize patterns in the question, which is basically looking for trends or patterns in the data that is presented in the question that is identical to whatever you have learned before. You can start off by asking yourself the following questions. A. Have I seen this type of question before? B. If I have, how can I apply that solution to this question? So there are actually two types of application methods here. The first is basically reusing the entire solution, and the second is to tweak the method such that it is applicable to this question. C is to ask yourself, if I have not seen this type of question before, what sort of concepts are they trying to test over here? So once you have identified the concepts, you can start thinking of ways of how you can apply the concepts to your answer. And this provides a starting point for you to solve the question. If you have found my videos to be really helpful so far, do like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also ring that notification bell. If the question seems to require an answer that consists of several parts, I'll first suggest for you to break down that big question into smaller mini questions. This makes it less overwhelming and easier to solve. And the chances of you panicking and blanking out will also decrease since you'll be focused on trying to identify the mini questions that are present in the big actual question. And who knows, by the time you break down the big question into smaller ones, you might have already found and structured the answer yourself. For me, what I like to do is to note down these smaller questions beside the actual question before working on them one by one in the answers. I've already written a blog post on decomposition earlier on, so link in the description, do check it out. Next, I want you to attempt the question. If you don't know the entire solution to the question, don't worry too much about it. Sometimes professors and teachers will award method marks if the solution that you have provided is logical, even though it is incomplete. If your mind is blank, move on after a few seconds, maybe after about 30 seconds. Since time is a limited resource and you need to ensure that time is minimally wasted during intense periods such as this. The previous steps that I mentioned above engages in what Barbara Oakley calls in her book, A Mind for Numbers, the focused mode of thinking. However, if you can't come up with a solution at that point in time, move on to other questions. This gives you ample time to tackle the questions that you already know the answer to, hence allowing you to perform to your fullest potential, and also engages the diffuse mode of thinking, which is essentially your subconscious mind wandering about and drawing links between the concepts that you already know, which might help you arrive at your final answer. Also, moving on gives your mind a break from the question, because very often when we feel too stressed about a particular question, we tend to have a very narrow perception instead of looking at things from a bigger picture, which generally doesn't really help with problem solving. Yes, I know that this step can only come once the exam is over, but I believe that it is important for us to have the growth mindset, which means that we should analyze our answers to see where we have gone wrong and to also learn from them. This will allow us to better appreciate the thought process behind the solution that is being provided to us, thereby allowing us to apply these methods to identical problems in the future. So there you have it. Following these tips will drastically increase your chances of performing to your fullest potential during exams. So which tips do you find to be really helpful? Do let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to find out more about my pre-vet journey at NUS, do check out this video over here. Or if you'd like to find out more on how you can improve your academics during university, do check out this playlist over here. So I wish you all the best and stay awesome. See you all in future videos. Peace.